When you start trying to force things, you can definitely tell they're forced. We have a saying in Mexico, too much sour cream on your tacos, demasiada crema en tus tacos. You can tell when it's forced. You can tell when something is not organic. Nowadays, I describe it as like, it's just like, this cocktail tastes like ChatGPT wrote the recipe, It's a cocktail, all right, but there's something off, and I can't tell what it is. And it is because there's like that lack of connection with the person. So you have to be putting all of your heart in it. Hi friends, my name is Ana Castro, and I am the chef and owner of Acamaya, a contemporary Mexican seafood restaurant in New Orleans. Welcome to the Taste Collective. We already talked about cooking with your head, which is logistics and all the important stuff, but it's a must to be able to cook with your heart because it's you. You're putting yourself out there, you're making yourself vulnerable for others to connect with. The way I think about heart is not so much about like the tormented artist that is just like, wow, I will create at no matter the human cost, For me, the heart is a lot of introspection and a lot of reflection and digging from your own life and from your own lived experience, and in hopes that someone else can see themselves reflected in it. And it's super, super powerful because it's not quantifiable. Like logistics, like the head is. The head is all quantifiable. The heart is not. It's intense and it's personal and it's vulnerable. And it's really beautiful. And there's this market in Mexico City called La Viga. And it's humongous. It's huge, 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 huge. There's a bunch of food stalls. And my grandpa used to take me there when I was a kid. And all the seafood stalls used to have a seafood cocktail called La Viga style. Like La Viga is the market. It's basically ketchup and clamato. And you can put octopus and fish and shrimp and like, it's kind of like imagine all the little cut-offs of like fish and things that they have at the market, and they serve it with saltines and a bunch of avocado, and it's finished with like this, like 2 whole limes just like squeezed on top, and like Valentina hot sauce, so it's like acid, it's spicy, it's salty, the avocado is like rich, the fish is fresh and snappy, and there's all these different textures on it. And every time I have that dish, I think of my grandpa. Nostalgia and memory are definitely super powerful ingredients. And to tap into them, you have to be willing to spend a lot of time with yourself and with your thoughts. Cooking with your heart, I think it's a must. The delivery, it just lands so much better, and people are able to connect with it because in a way they're connecting with you. And when someone relates to something, I think that's the most powerful thing you could possibly do for engagement. Like, if that resonates with me within my own lived experience, if it feels comfortable in my hands, if it like reminds me of something else and like it taps into nostalgia, then you've won. You've really created something like special. Me as a chef, so many people can make a dish, but can everybody make a dish that connects with people and reminds them of something of their childhood and like reminds them of like the beauty that there is in like diversity in this country? Like, I mean, it's a very lofty like goal. To be able to work with a product like 1800 that is made with the same regard for process that you have for your own work is rare. I personally like to enjoy 1800 with my friends. The way that I will enjoy 1800 will vary with the person that I am. My sister Barbara, complete mad person. She is like bowl of limes, bowl of salt, bowl of 1800. Some deep cut Mexican songs, like Alejandra Guzman and stuff like that. Now, if I'm with my friends in the States, margaritas, sitting outside when it's nice in the spring in New Orleans, or a ranch water. So it really just depends. Our after dinner, la sobremesa, the art of the sobremesa, of hanging out after a meal is done with my father and like getting into these really crazy talks that we get about many things, and we always disagree about everything. With him, conversations are like a seesaw, and I kind of feel like what grounds this conversation sometimes is sharing a nice añejo with dessert. I rarely will make something that is exactly like my grandmother used to make it, or even have the intention to recreate something like verbatim. And it's not because of like, oh, the recipe wasn't written or it wasn't translated. is that you're literally trying to recreate a feeling that you had when you were a different person at a different time, at a different age. So it's almost impossible for you to have something and it tastes the same way that it tasted when you were a child, because you're not a child anymore. So the best way you can do is kind of like shoot for it and hope that it lands somewhere in the vicinity. And if it does that, it also is casting a broader net of connection, truly. I've had people come into the restaurant and have a dish that is extremely personal to me, and it's something that I remember eating with my grandfather in the city of Veracruz when I was 9 years old. And they'll be like, this reminded me of something my grandma used to make. Like just one thread of connection. And that's all we want. That's all we want, is just like that one line of a similarity or like a shared experience. And that nostalgia is more powerful than just having something exactly recreated. It's really important that you get the head right, because once you have that, then all that is left really, which is a lot of it, is the heart. It's like all that is left is for you to infuse your personal lived experience into it. And that's the most fun part. So if you cross your T's and you dot your I's and all of this is good, then you can really have some fun with what you want to do. Honestly, it's an exciting time to be a chef. It's an exciting time to be alive. And don't forget to check out the rest of our Taste Collective masterclasses to learn how 1800 can improve your understanding of taste.